So I guess I've got kind of a collection growing now. Um, the one on the left here is the Dune Cycle. The one on the right here is the Trisport. Um, the Dune Cycle is still it's still a project. I am still working on it. I had all this in the garage. Had to move it. They just take up too much space. But anyway, the Dune Cycle's been sitting in the woods for close to 34, 37 years, somewhere in there. And it is almost done, actually. I'm very excited to ride this one. Got it all cleaned up and painted, but I'm going to repaint it, actually. I guess I had the wrong color or something. It came out brown. um, this one's a 6.5 horsepower engine. Which, I was a little bit concerned with until I, drove the one that I currently have, that's working. I'll show you it in a sec, the Trisport. This one's a twist throttle, kill switch, not hooked up yet. This brake, the right brake, is not hooked up yet. What's cool about these is it has individual brakes. Left goes to the left tire, right goes to the right tire. So you can do whatever drifting you want. They all, I don't know if anybody knows, but both of these have differentials, which basically means one tire, like if you lift it up in the air and you spin this tire, the other one's going to go the other way. But that's mainly just so that one can go, when you're going forward on turns and stuff, one goes slower than the other, stuff like that. Yeah, this one, I have a clutch for it. It was on there, but I pulled it off for, measuring purposes. It'll go back on here. This brake lever is hooked up to this one here. The main issue that I'm having is mounting this tire down here. This one has front shocks. But you see what it has to hook onto. It's got a hook down here because this shock hooks up here. So somehow I've got to find some sort of axle that'll fit in between those. And I mean, this one was actually my dad's when he was 14, and he's a lot older than 14 now. So yeah, I pulled out of the woods, got it all freed up. It was pretty frozen up, but put new shocks on and everything. Never ridden it before, but it should be pretty fun. This is, a dummy switch, but someday it may be a headlight, who knows. We'll deal with that when it comes. Yeah, I think that's about it with this one. Moving on, that's the Trisport there. This one I actually just got. I traded some guy for 80cc motorized bike. So, yeah, the Dune Cycle's a 4-lug. This one's a 5, which I thought was interesting. And that the Dune Cycle's a 6.5 horsepower. This one is only a 5 horsepower. Briggs and Stratton. They're both Briggs and Stratton. This one, the brakes are hooked up, but if you hit them, since they're on the belt drive shaft, well, this shaft links the belt with the chain here to the rear sprocket. So you can stop that drive shaft, but then it's going to keep rolling. So you will slip your chain every time that you pull that, brake lever. So, it's got a couple, they're from the 1970s. They all have wear and tear. I'm not really worried about what they look like, because obviously they don't look the best. This one has first off, it needs a new clutch. Or, not a clutch, air filter. It sheared the bolt off while I was riding it, and the air filter went flying. The throttle cable, pretty tight, is actually a welded-on saw blade. So, you push that up. It's a Sawzall blade is what it is. But basically, yeah, that works actually really well, surprisingly. I added this part here, which basically I just pulled all the slack through, so the second you start giving it gas, now it will go. The clutch here. Okay, I am kind of baffled by this. I know this is not the belt that I need. This is what came on it. And basically, if you ride this thing, it will give you a very high-pitched shriek, you know. It sounds horrible. And it won't really drive when it happens. So basically, I'm thinking it might just be the belt. Hopefully, you know, fingers crossed. But it could be that the clutch is going bad. I really hope it's not that the clutch is going bad here. You know, I really hope it's still fine. But if anyone knows, knows anything about that, you know, be sure to comment, give me a heads up before I go off and buy a bunch of parts. The main issue with this Trisport, there are no shocks whatsoever. But everything is original. The tires, original, engine, everything is from the 70s, except for the handlebars. I completely I updated all of the handlebars, I guess. The grips are much better now than they were. The brake lever, which once again, it's useless because you can't pull the brakes. I gave it a clutch lever, so you can set it on hills and stuff. And that'll just pop off. I got rid of the twist throttle on this one, just to try this out. And it is a thumb throttle now. Which, even though it's pretty stiff, it actually works really well. It's much better than that twist. And I think it's because the twist was, you know, just super old. But, you know, it was like $8. This whole unit here is like $8. Kill switch, which isn't hooked up to anything yet. You know, one of these days. Lowered the pegs from the top hole here to the bottom. The seat has a hole in it. That needs fixed. But yeah, that's about it with the Trisport. I know that on the dune cycle I need to relocate this gas tank. I'm thinking about right up here or something. Because for one, I have to get the throttle cable to here anyways. However, the seat won't go all the way back with the gas tank there. So I've got to figure something out. I might put a longer line on it and just put it above the seat. Who knows? I was a little bit worried because everyone recommended an 8 horsepower on these. So I think that engine is from a pressure washer. I can't remember. I pulled it off of something. But anyway, the engine here, I was worried it wouldn't be powerful enough. But this one's only a 5 horsepower, and after getting this one and riding it, like honestly, if you stand on the seat and floor that thumb throttle and lean back, this whole thing will pop up, and it will ride like that. I'm just, you know, I'm not skilled enough to keep it up, but I know that you can, because I've outflipped it. But yeah, definitely drifting machines, I tell you what. But yeah, if you have a dune cycle, or you want to get one, I recommend one thing. This, I guess, where the frame, you know, forks out like this to house the axles, definitely weld some angles in here. See, like this one. This one my dad did when he was a kid, so it's not great, but it works. Because the thing is, it has no support, so if you drift this thing, you'll bend that in. I guess they did that or something. And they actually had to repair it. You can see down in there where they actually fixed the axle. So this tire actually sticks out farther than that one. Not by much, but, you know. You don't have to on a Trisport, though, because you see how it's shaped? How it angles out and then back down? That is all the support that you really need. I have not had any trouble with that on this. But yeah, honestly, these things are a lot of fun. Wouldn't be too difficult to make. Just get the differential. Maybe you can find some blueprints. They are a lot of fun, though. So I highly recommend, you know, stealing the design, making it your own. But anyway, yeah, that's about it.